Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. So today we're going to dive into a topic that, well, it seems pretty simple at first glance, right?
Mhm.
But when you actually dig into it, um, it really opens up this fascinating story about global consumer chefs.
Yeah.
Our mission today is to unpack a report from Cognitive Market Research, specifically excerpts from their global CEP-packed food market analysis,
Right. And it's fascinating because these, everyday items you see everywhere.
like instant noodles,
Yeah,
fruit cups.
exactly. Those single serving things, they seem small, but well, they add up. We're talking a multi-billion-dollar global industry.
Wow.
And the numbers, they really tell a story, don't they? About how our daily lives, our eating habits are changing all over the world.
Absolutely, and I think you listening might be surprised, not just by the overall size, but the kind of growth. We're going to see some really dramatic differences in how this market's expanding in different places. Definitely some aha moments coming up. Okay, so let's unpack the big picture first. This really isn't a niche market we're talking about. It's massive. The global CUP-packed food market. Get this. It was already worth over $3,150 million back in 2021.
3.15 billion, yeah.
Right. But here's the kicker. It's projected to hit 3,871 million by 2025, and then keep climbing to a whopping $5,844 million by 2033.
Almost double the 2021 figure,
Exactly. That's a compound annual growth rate, a CGR of 5.283%.
which is, well, pretty solid.
Think of it like your savings account growing by over 5% every single year consistently for more than a decade.
And that kind of consistent, sustained growth, especially over that time frame, well, that's pretty significant for any market, really.
Why is it so notable?
Well, it signals this isn't just some, temporary trend or fad. It suggests a fundamental shift, a really enduring change in how people actually want to consume food. It speaks to a global desire for efficiency, maybe, for accessibility.
Ready-to-eat stuff that just fits into our busy lives.
Precisely, yeah.
Okay, so here's where, like you said, it gets really interesting. The regional breakdown. Because the
Please, John.
global numbers are impressive, sure, but the real story is, well, where is this growth actually happening? And leading the charge, by quite a margin, is the Asia-Pacific region, APAC.
Definitely.
It's not just the biggest market. It was valued at over $1,020 million in 2021.
So about a third of the global total right there.
Right, but it's also growing the fastest. It's forecast to more than double, hitting over 2,051 million by 2033. And that gives it the highest regional CAGR we're seeing, almost 6%. 5.998% to be exact.
Wow. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, that dominance, it really implies some profound shifts happening in consumer habits across APAC.
Like what specific?
Well, it's not just, rising incomes or simple urbanization. Those play a part. Think about smaller living spaces in cities.
Less kitchen space, maybe.
Exactly. Less time for traditional cooking, maybe more single-person households. All these factors make these cup-tack foods incredibly practical, almost indispensable for some people.
That makes sense. And when we drill down into APAC, we see some pretty phenomenal country-level stories, too. India, for instance, is showing really robust growth. It's projected to more than double its market value by 2033. The AGR there is pushing almost 6.8%.
6.797%. That's huge growth.
It really is. And then China, it commands the largest slice of the revenue pie in APAC. It's also set to nearly double by 2033, growing at over 6.2% CAGR.
Right, so $289 million up to nearly $600 million. Big numbers.
Huge.
And you also see, interestingly, smaller but really dynamic markets like Singapore, it's growing at over 6.3% annually.
So even in very established urban centers, there's still strong growth.
Exactly. It shows how this convenience factor is being integrated in new ways. And don't forget, Southeast Asia as a whole region.
Yes, that's another big one. Strong growth there, too.
Very strong, almost 6.5% CAGR collectively. These aren't just abstract figures. They reflect, real transformations in daily routines across millions of people.
And we also see solid contributions from places like Japan and South Korea, both growing over 5.3%. Taiwan's just under 5.7%. It really shows how widespread this is across the whole very diverse APAC landscape. Even the rest of APAC's category is growing well over 5.5%.
Well, it's quite a picture.
Okay, so let's pivot now. Let's head over to North America. Still a massive player in this market, right?
Absolutely. A very significant chunk of the global market.
Yeah, the numbers show is over $923 million back in 2021, and it's expected to expand to over $1.6 billion by 2033. The CAGR there is a little lower than APAC, closer to 4.8%. 4.841%.
Right, and while that growth rate might seem more moderate compared to APAC's explosive numbers, you have to remember the sheer size of the North American market.
It's starting from a bigger base.
Exactly, so it still accounts for a huge volume. The nuance here, I think, is that it's a more, let's say, mature market for these kinds of products.
So growth isn't just about people trying them for the first time.
Probably less so. It's more about innovation now. Things like premium versions, maybe healthier options, organic ingredients, sustainable packaging. That's where a lot of the evolution is happening there. It's a different kind of growth.
Interesting. And within North America, no surprise, the United States takes the lion's share.
Mm-hmm.
Revenue there projected to go from nearly $790 million in 2021 to almost $1.4 billion by 2033. That's a 4.76% CAGR.
Still very solid.
Yeah. And Canada and Mexico are also showing pretty robust growth, actually both slightly higher than the U.S. rate, over 5% CAGR each. Canada at 5.5%, Mexico just over 5%.
Right, so growth across the board there, really.
Okay, let's cross the Atlantic. Europe, how does it stack up?
Europe also shows pretty consistent expansion. It's a substantial market, too.
Yeah, it was around $775 million in 2021, and the forecast takes it to over $1.3 billion by 2033. The CAGR is very similar to North America, actually, almost 4.9%, 4.896%.
And within Europe, Germany really stands out. It's showing strong performance, over 5.6% CAGR.
Wow, higher than the regional average.
It is, and that indicates, a significant appetite for this kind of convenience in one of Europe's biggest economies. It aligns with those same trends we talked about, busy lives, urbanization.
Makes sense. And we also see solid growth coming from the UK. That's nearly 5.2% CAGR. Spain is also close, just under 5.2%. Sweden over 5%.
Right.
France and Italy show slightly more moderate growth, closer to 4.2% and 4.6% respectively. Russia's a bit lower at 3.7%.
So quite a bit of variation within Europe itself.
Definitely. You've got Denmark around 4.6%, Switzerland 4.2%, even Luxembourg, though smaller, at 3.4%. And the rest of Europe category is close to the average at 4.9%. It's a real mosaic of different growth rates over there.
It really highlights how even within a region, local factors matter.
Okay, so let's round out the global picture now. We need to look at South America, the Middle East, and Africa. Starting with South America, the market there grew from about $155 million in 2021, projected to reach over $300 million by 2033.
It's almost doubling as well.
It is, and the CAGR is quite healthy, nearly 5.7%, 5.651%.
And Argentina, interestingly, really stands out in South America. It has an impressive 6.2% CAGR forecast.
Higher than the regional average again.
Yeah, significantly. Brazil is also strong at over 5.5%. Chile is doing well at 5.8%. Colombia, 5.2%. Peru, 5.4%. And the rest of South America grouping is almost 6%.
So really broad strength across the continent.
It seems so. It really shows how this convenience trend is, well, embedding itself pretty deeply across quite diverse economies in that region.
Okay, next up, the Middle East. How's the picture there?
Similar story of solid expansion.
Right. The market expanded from just over $141 million in 2021 to a projected nearly $270 million by 2033. The CAGR registered there is around 5.5%, 5.49%.
And the UAE is a real powerhouse in that region. It's showcasing a particularly strong CAGR, over 6.2%.
Wow, another standout.
Definitely. Turkey is also notable, nearly 5.9% growth. Saudi Arabia is solid at 5.5%, Egypt just over 5%, Qatar 5.2%.
So strong growth in key economies there.
It suggests that in areas with, rapidly developing economies and maybe shifting demographics, convenience is becoming a really paramount driver for food choices.
Okay, and finally, Africa. What are the numbers telling us there?
Africa shows growth, but it's a bit more modest compared to the other regions we've discussed.
Right. The market value rose from about $134 million in 2021 and is projected to reach over $232 million by 2033. But the regional CAGR is the lowest we've seen, just under 4%, 3.986%.
And that comparatively lower growth rate in Africa, well, it's an interesting nuance, isn't it?
Yeah, what do you think drives that difference?
It probably suggests that while that global push for convenience is definitely real, local factors are playing a significant role. Things like existing food distribution infrastructures, maybe different income levels across the continent, and perhaps even more deeply rooted traditional culinary practices.
Things that might slow the adoption of these kinds of packaged foods.
Potentially, yeah. They influence how quickly or how slowly this particular market develops. Though Nigeria and South Africa are leading the growth there, both over 4.2%. Nigeria at 4.22%, South Africa higher at 4.67%. The rest of Africa trails a bit at 3.4%.
Okay, wow. So we've covered a lot of ground, a lot of numbers there. What does this all mean then? For you, the listener, when you sort of step back and look at this whole picture, we've seen this tremendous growth, but with really different patterns region by region. What really stands out when you connect all those dots?
Well, what stands out most to me is how these numbers, they really paint this vivid picture of truly evolving global lifestyles.
Yeah.
It's not just some generic demand for convenience. It's about specific regional drivers, like we discussed. In APAC, you see that sheer dynamism, new consumer habits forming rapidly, massive urbanization. In North America, it feels more like pushing the boundaries of what convenience can be, making it healthier, more specialized, maybe more sustainable.
A different kind of evolution.
Exactly. And then in Europe, it seems like a steady integration into daily life, maybe less explosive, but very broad-based. These aren't just food products anymore. They're solutions. Solutions to the pressures and realities of modern living.
Indeed. I think the central insight here is, well, it's pretty crystal clear, isn't it? The cup-packed food market is undergoing this massive, but also very distinct growth all across the globe. And importantly, it doesn't seem to be slowing down. It's really a testament to how convenience in all its many forms is just redefining our relationship with food.
Absolutely. And, thinking ahead, this raises a really important question, I think. Given these really significant, but also very varied growth rates we're seeing across the globe, what fundamental shifts in, say, food consumption or broader consumer behavior will keep driving this market forward? And maybe even more interestingly, what entirely new forms of cup-packed convenience might emerge that, well, we can't even really imagine today?
Like what? Gourmet meals in a cup?
Maybe. Or perhaps entirely sustainable packaging becomes the absolute norm. Self-heating options that actually work well. The possibilities are kind of fascinating to consider.
That is definitely food for thought. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. Keep exploring the world around you, keep asking questions, and we'll see you next time. How much do our increasingly fast-paced lives really shape what we eat, what we put into our bodies?
Yeah, it's a good question.
It's something maybe we don't often stop to think about. But today, on the deep dive, we're really going to plunge into this fascinating, evolving world of the cup-packed food market. We've gone through a whole stack of sources, including that recent analysis from Cognitive Market Research, to basically give you the shortcut to understanding what's going on.
And it's more than just numbers, isn't it? What's really striking here is how this market, this cup-packed food thing, it's kind of a mirror.
A mirror? How so?
Well, it reflects these much deeper shifts in how we as consumers are thinking about convenience, sure, but also wellness, and even our environmental impact.
Okay.
We're really aiming for those aha moments today to show you just how much our plates are, well, maybe our cups are changing.
Let's get into it then. So the growth engines, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Convenience has got to be number one, right?
Oh, absolutely. Front and center.
I mean, our work days are frantic. Commutes feel endless. Just that constant hustle. It screams for quick, easy food solutions.
Totally.
And these single-serve cups, noodles, oatmeal, yogurt, even salads now and desserts, they just hit that sweet spot. Easy to carry, super quick.
Yeah, grab and go.
But it's not just about grabbing and going, is it? I was thinking about the packaging itself. That sealed cup, it adds a layer of, hygiene. And storage is just dead simple. Fits anywhere.
That's a really good point. Hygiene and just ease of storage are definitely part of the appeal. But, while convenience is crucial, what's really pushing a big part of this growth, especially at the sort of premium end, it's health and wellness.
Oh, okay. So beyond just speed.
Exactly. What's fascinating is how brands are actually innovating within the cup format to offer specific functional benefits.
Like what?
Well, you're seeing plant-based proteins, clean label ingredients becoming standard, added vitamins, even probiotics packed into these cups. It's almost like they're making specific nutritional needs, things that used to require effort, totally effortless.
Right. Democratizing wellness in a cup.
That's a good way to put it. And that's a powerful, powerful draw for consumers today.
Definitely sounds powerful. And it's not just what's in the cup, but also Like where you find them, right? The
Like that
distribution.
expansion, absolutely
they-
massive.
They seem to be everywhere now. Supermarkets, okay, but vending machines.
Yeah.
E-commerce platforms are huge for this too, I bet.
Everywhere. And that availability, that's what's really cemented them as an everyday thing for commuters, students, busy professionals.
So what does this all mean for us then? It feels like we're seeing this huge rise in like spontaneous eating, just grab and go culture taking over.
It's certainly made it easier. They've become ubiquitous, no doubt. But as the market gets bigger, it's also hitting some, let's say, significant headwinds, challenges.
Okay, let's talk about those.
Well, if you connect this to the bigger picture, environmental sustainability, that's a huge one.
The packaging again, single-use plastic.
Exactly. Single-use plastic, coated paper cups. There's intense scrutiny now.
Yeah.
From consumers, yes, but also increasingly from regulators.
Right.
So there's this really strong push, almost urgent, for biodegradable options, recyclable materials.
Which brings up costs, I imagine.
Yeah.
And maybe forces redesigns.
Definitely. It raises big questions about manufacturing costs, potential impacts on shelf life maybe, and just the whole operational side. And, how much of this push is really consumer demand versus just regulations forcing their hand. That's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, that's a tricky balance for manufacturers. And speaking of challenges, what about the logistics? You mentioned health focus, refrigeration.
Right. That's another hurdle. A lot of these, especially the fresher, healthier options, have limited shelf lives. They need refrigeration.
Which complicates things.
Hugely. Storage, transport, especially if you're talking about regions that don't have, robust cold chain infrastructure everywhere.
And for retailers,
Yes,
less shelf space. Certain stores can't even stock them.
precisely. It limits where they can be sold, restricting penetration in, say, ambient or non-refrigerated aisles. So it's a real practical constraint.
Yeah. Okay, so sustainability, logistics, what else?
Well, the market itself is just incredibly fragmented and
That's right.
competitive.
Lots of players.
Tons. You've got nimble local startups popping up. You've got the big supermarket private labels getting in on the action. And then you have the global food giants all fighting for attention.
Sounds intense.
It is. And that often leads to really intense price competition, which squeezes profit margins.
So you can't just be convenient anymore.
Not really. Differentiation is absolutely essential. You need bold flavors or a really strong brand story or, genuinely better nutrition to stand out. Good enough often isn't, good enough in this space.
Okay, but that pressure, that need to differentiate,
Yeah,
that must be where the exciting stuff happens too, right? The innovation.
exactly. That leads us right into where it gets really interesting. Despite the challenges, the innovation is, it's impressive.
Like what? What's catching your eye?
The flavors. We're seeing this huge surge in premium ethnic gourmet profiles.
So moving beyond just like chicken noodle.
Oh, way beyond. Think Thai curry cups, Mediterranean quinoa salads, even like sushi-inspired bowls, things you wouldn't have imagined in a cup 5-10 years ago.
Wow, okay.
And they're using high-end ingredients, sometimes truffle oils, specific superfoods, artisanal cheeses. It's elevating the whole experience.
So convenience meeting, like actual culinary interest.
You got it. It's transforming these basic convenience meals into something much more sophisticated.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
What else on the innovation front? Packaging must be evolving too, given the sustainability pressure.
Absolutely. That's a huge area of focus. Companies are investing heavily in eco-friendly options,
Like,
fiber-based cups, trying to move away from plastic,
yeah.
developing microwave safe liners made from greener materials, fully recyclable cups and lids.
So it's both regulations and consumer demand pushing this.
Definitely. It's meeting regulatory standards, yes, but it's also tapping into that growing consumer desire for green alternatives. It's not just greenwashing anymore. It's becoming table stakes, designing out waste from the start.
Interesting. Anything else catching your eye in terms of trends?
One more thing, yeah. The rise of customizable or almost meal kit style cups.
Real kit in a cup. How does that work?
Well, some brands are using compartmentalized cups. So you might have, say, the base in one part, a sauce or dressing in another, maybe some toppings or crunchy bits in a third.
Ah, so you mix it yourself.
Exactly. It enhances personalization, gives you a bit more control, makes it feel a bit more, interactive, less like just a pre-made thing.
That does sound more engaging. Okay, so wrapping this up then, what's the big picture takeaway from our deep dive today?
I think the core takeaway is that this market, the cup-packed food market, it's not just growing. I mean, it is growing steadily, but it's really evolving
Evolving how?
into something much more sophisticated. It's becoming sustainability-driven, very flavor-forward. It's really this dynamic little microcosm reflecting these fundamental shifts in how we all think about convenience, yes, but also wellness and our environmental footprint.
Right. Convenience is just the starting point now, not the end game.
Precisely.
So, considering all that,
Yeah.
all the innovation, the challenges,
Yeah.
it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What does that perfect, future-proof cup-packed meal actually look like to you? Listening.
Yeah, that's the question.
One that gets that balance just right. Ultimate convenience, real sustainability, and, genuinely fantastic flavor. What's the next big thing? What new ingredient or maybe some new packaging material we haven't even thought of could completely revolutionize this space next?
Yeah.
Something to mull over.